Hello everybody, Silentwisher here with a more advanced Zeus tutorial. This tutorial has to do with Zeus and TFR. So, have you ever wanted to be able to hear a player talking while they're out in the battlefield? Like say, me. Like I wouldn't obviously want to hear myself, but like say this was a squad of people, right? And you wanted to hear them talking. Well, normally you can't do that. At least most people don't know how you can do that. There's a setting to do that, but there are some caveats. So we're gonna discuss how to turn this setting on, the trade-offs to each, and some alternatives. So first and foremost, the alternative would to be hiding your Zeus. For example, if I can click on it here, hide Zeus. Yes, teleport next to the players in order to hear them talking, which is great and all. And if you want to follow a specific player, you could always go to objects, attach to, click on yourself first, and then that object. And then as that object moves around, you'll see you do too in a very like strict, like rigid motion. Um, and then of course, if you want to detach, you just do it again on yourself. Now, this isn't the greatest method for most people. Plus, it can affect, say you have multiple Zeuses at your base here, right? And you want to chit chat with them. So, something to keep in mind before we turn this setting on, your normal radios with TFR, like your short range and your long range, will act the same no matter what. Okay? However, your proximity voice will change dramatically. So, for example, without this setting turned on, if you have another player next to you and you're talking, they will hear you. And I believe that happens no matter what. However, if you were to have the setting on and you move your camera away, you will no longer hear the person standing next to you because the camera is acting as your proximity voice. That being said, as far as I'm aware, and I've tested this a couple of times, your voice does not transmit from your camera. That's something we'll have to test and get back with you on in the comments section below. But all that being said, let's go ahead and talk about how to turn this setting on. So first we're going to go to escape. We're going to go to add-on options, and then we're going to find the TFR section. Then we're going to go to TFR TFR global settings. And you'll notice the very first option is hearing from Zeus camera. Notice how it says hearing from Zeus camera. So you shouldn't be able to transmit your voice from the Zeus camera, okay? That's a given based off of what this says. So first, you're going to go ahead and turn this on and hit OK. Now, this will not take effect immediately. You will need to reconnect to the server and in some cases restart your game entirely for this to work. Now, once this is enabled, all those rules that I previously mentioned apply. So say you have a Zeus team like we do in the Rough Riders. How you would communicate is one of two ways. If you wanted to communicate locally, you would have to get out of Zeus and then your local transmission would act as normal. Okay? Otherwise, thanks to that long Zeus load and pause, otherwise you would have to use a ZeusNet radio. So for example, if you have Zeuses flying around, right, and each is doing their own thing, and by the way, I don't know if the radio range has to do with the character's location or the camera's location, but regardless, you would want to set up either a long range or a short range Zeus radio net. So for example, you could set up 84.3, which Rough Riders, if you're listening to this, you wouldn't want to do that because that's our long range. But for the sake of this tutorial, your Zeus net could be 84.3. So that way, whenever you want to talk to a Zeus, including while controlling an enemy AI, you can do so by just simply using your desired radio of choice. as long as both Zeuses or multiple Zeuses are on that Zeus net. That being said, your long range, assuming it's on a separate, deal, will act the same as well. A separate frequency, rather, will act the same as if you were on the ground here. So this is an excellent tool to have, other than the fact that, like, say I'm over here and a player comes running up to me and is trying to talk to me, I won't hear them. They would have to either hail me in chat, side chat, help me, like that, or they would have to hop on ZeusNet, which we do not want them to do. So we prefer them to do chat. But yeah, so this is a great benefit. So say you have people on the ground fighting and you're making a video, right? You can turn off your HUD. You can come in here. Let's say there's troops in here and they're talking about how they're getting shot at and stuff. You'll be able to hear them talking at a pretty decent distance as well. And that way you're not having to constantly teleport yourself around and attach yourself to players in order to get the audio and footage that you desire. So if that doesn't make sense, I can explain it in game for the Rough Rider teams that are Zeus trained and or want to be Zeus trained. But give it a try. Give it a try on your own server with your friends, and we'll go from there. Also, if you want to see an example of this in action, watch my previous video to this one. It's like a crazy night / crazy evac. All of those shots were taken with this setting turned on. So you'll notice that I'm moving my camera around and I'm hearing them at various angles and everything without actually having to teleport a cloaked version myself around the players. So hopefully this all makes sense, guys, and it'll improve your video making experiences and just your overall Zeus experience. With all that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. I will respond to it. Drop a like if I haven't said that already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.